Welcome to the Growing Your Business podcast, a program created to answer the question, what's in it for me, for both the business and their customers. So joining me today on the Growing Your Business podcast is my friend Peter Krause with the Insurance House. Peter, thanks for being here today.
My pleasure.
Well, Peter, I've heard a lot about the Insurance House in person, but now we get to share it with our audience. What is it you do that benefits your customers? What sets you apart?
When I first started business, I felt I wanted a product or a service to provide that was really an asset to the consumer or the buyer. And my whole goal has always been to offer something that's of real value. If it's not real value, I don't want to sell it or offer it. And that's what I did with insurance.
That's excellent. You've been in the insurance industry for some time. How did you get your start?
It was kind of funny. I had a friend that was worked for the same company I did, and he lived in Dallas, and he started the insurance business. He invited me to come down here and be his partner, and I came down, and we just jumped in and opened up an agency.
And before that, did you think you were going to be insurance, or were you already insurance at the time?
No, never insurance. Never thought it was. Years ago, somebody talked me into becoming a life insurance agent. I started reading into it, and I said, I'll never do this. I'll never work on a commission-only, self-employed operation. And here I am.
And you've been doing it for a long time and have helped a lot of people in that time. So let's talk about the types of customers you serve.
Today, I've specialized in employee benefits.
Perfect.
Small, medium-sized companies, which I would say anywhere is up to under 500 employees.
That's excellent.
We do self-funded, partially self-funded, fully funded plans. Most of my customers are on fully funded plans.
Define fully funded plans.
Fully funded plan is an insurance policy where the insurance company bears the entire risk, and the employer just pays the premium, and that's it. A self-funded plan is where the employer bears part of the risk and part of the obligation, and the insurance company only does the reinsurance and the administration for the claims.
So I imagine when you're having conversations with employers, you're really trying to find the best fit, right? And so how do you determine which one of those fit? And again, I'm talking from a layman's perspective. I know you know your business and go do a really deep dive there, but why would you use one versus the other?
Actually, most of the time, a fully funded plan works out well. With small groups, there's a thing called a level funded plan, which is a hybrid of a partially self-funded plan, and that seems to work out real well for very small employers. But for the most part, employers, a fully funded plan properly placed and properly managed is very, very competitive today, because you are watching claims, you're looking at the profitability of gross profit, net profit of the insurance company. They do have a right to make a profit. I just make sure they don't make too much.
Yeah, that's fair. They got to stay in business. Otherwise, they're not available to
right.
anybody, right? You've seen the market change in your time quite a bit. What would you say is the number one, the big change that's happened in the insurance agency, I'd say that you can recall from your entire career?
Well, the biggest change was when President Obama activated the Affordable Care Act and changed everything, guaranteed issue. That was a humongous change to the industry, very tough on the industry, the insurers, the brokers, the employers, and individuals themselves. That change had a lot of good benefits and had some not so good benefits.
Yeah.
But it's here to stay.
Interesting. So that was enacted years ago, but it's still functioning. And current, there's a lot of change happening now as well. How is that affecting from the insurer's standpoint?
Are you speaking in terms of the economy? And
Sure.
So forth?
So, yeah, I'd say, well, every new administration has new policies, right? Has there been a significant change for insurance policies lately?
No, there hasn't been a significant change in insurance policy. Of course, inflation is affecting
Always.
Everybody.
Yeah.
And it's a little off kilter right now because we had such a huge surge of inflation 2 years ago that the economy is still adjusting to it. And I think it's going to take another 3 years to adjust out of it before everything settles down. But right now, some things are overly expensive, and it's tough. It's tough for employers to provide benefits for the employees and still make a profit and still be able to sell their products.
Right.
And that'll iron out in time. So,
yeah.
But important, benefits are very, very important to the employee. When an employee comes to work for a company, they have two questions in mind. One, how much do you pay me, and what are the benefits?
That's fair. That's a good point. What do you enjoy the most about what you do?
I enjoy helping people, and nothing gives me better reward than see I get a good product, a good price, a good negotiation for the insurance company, for the employer. I enjoy working with the employees. We do a lot of work with employees.
Yeah.
The employees, when they have a serious health crisis or something, we're the first one to call. And the comfort of knowing that the benefits are in place and how they're going to get benefits and how they're going to budget their time and so forth is very, very important.
In your time, you've, again, served a lot of people. Can you recall a couple of, I want to call them success stories? Like basically someone that came to you with a problem. It can be employer, employee, that you're able to help and get them on the right path.
Well, one of the success stories from an employer standpoint is on fully funded plans, I measure claims paid, premium paid, and loss ratios and so forth to make sure it's down. And I have a client in particular that we have managed to keep rates down to about less than 7% a year for the last probably 9-10 years. And that's extremely well. And they're usually priced under market because of the negotiations. As far as the employee goes, recently we had an employee that came to us diagnosed with diabetes.
Oh, goodness.
Young man in his early 50s, had to have his leg amputated, which is a traumatic and horrific experience for anyone. We went over his benefits for him, and one of the things that he had is he had elected voluntary benefits, which were short-term and long-term disability, which was fantastic for helping him. And the reason why he selected him is because we use benefit counselors during enrollment.
Oh, great.
It explains each of the benefits to the employee, and they can make an informed decision. And he selected on his own short and long-term disability without ever knowing this was going to happen.
And so you're ahead of the problem, right?
Ahead of the problem.
When you can be, or you can deal with the problem as they come. So
it's better to be ahead of the
yes,
problem.
Yes, just about anything is better to be ahead. You serve employers all over the U.S., internationally. Like where's the center of your service?
Well, we're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We just expose on out.
Yeah.
Over the years and times, we've had corporations relocate to different states. So we have customers from California to North and South Carolina, Maryland, Arizona, Colorado, Ohio. We have in a lot of different states. I'm currently licensed in approximately 20 different states, but to be licensed in a state to handle a particular group is not difficult at all.
Stay with us. The Growing Your Business podcast will return right after this. Ready to amplify your brand's voice? At Blue Mike Studios, we transform your ideas into captivating podcasts and videos. Whether you're launching your own show or guest starring on ours, we've got you covered. From recording and editing to social media promotion. With state-of-the-art 4K video and crystal clear audio, your content will shine. We offer guest packages on our podcasts and offer segments from the show for you to share. Or let us help you build your own branded podcast with custom strategy, branding, and full production support. Visit BlueMikeStudios.com today and let your voice be heard. Please check our show notes for sponsorship links and additional details. Now, back to the Growing Your Business podcast with Buddy Broyles. Well, I know you're very active in the local community, different chambers and other networking groups. Tell me about how you stay on top of everything, because there's constant change in your industry. You know, there's always change. How do you stay ahead?
I keep a facade where everybody thinks everything's under control and cool, and deep down inside, I'm just running around.
Yeah, hustling
trying
like
to get
everybody
as
else.
much done as I can kind of one time. It's part of the fun of the business. It's part of the enthusiasm. A number of years ago, I had a situation. I am also licensed in property and casualty, and someone was referred someone to me that needed workers' comp, and he wasn't able to get it. So I was trying to get him his workers' comp, and I went to several large brokerage firms and local people and everybody I knew, and nobody would write it. And so I says, and it was for employees in foreign countries. And I said to Ed, I said, Ed, I don't normally do this, and I can't find a broker who does it. If you want me to write it, I'll write it. He says, you will? I said, yeah. So I started out writing his Defense Base Act coverage, which is equivalent to workers' comp for employees overseas under government contracts. And I wrote them in Iraq, and I wrote them in Iran and Turkey and Afghanistan and South Africa and various other countries. And we started with that, and I started doing that, and I did his general liability, then I did his property, then I did his inventory of South Africa. And as different people found out, but first thing you know, I had about 5 companies I was doing international coverage with because nobody else would do it.
Right.
But I do that more of a excitement and enthusiastic and a challenge.
Yeah.
But my core is really employee benefits, and that's my love.
That's great. You're clearly very good at it. You've been at it a while.
Thank you.
Tell me, how do you like to be contacted? What's the best way for people who are listening and want to reach out to you?
My phone number, 972-596-8956. We answer the phone live. We have no recordings. You don't have to push 1 for English, 2 for Spanish. You don't have to push 3 or 4. Just call us. We'll answer it. Or my email address, which is pkrause, Krause, at theinsurancehouse.com.
Excellent. And those will be in the show notes. So if you didn't get a chance to write that down, just scroll down and we provided that for you. So for people who are looking for someone like you, I have a list of things that I know set you apart. But what would you say to someone who's just on the fence, like, do I need this for my business? Of course they do, right? Mm-hmm. And what would you say to them to give you a call?
Well, every company, regardless, should have good benefits.
Yeah.
The question, I'm too small, I can't afford it, just means that they haven't got their compensation package budgeted properly, because cost of benefits is part of the compensation package.
Yeah.
Just like a free lunch or free parking or anything else. Has to be in the budget. So you always should have good benefits. A lot of times employers will get so focused on the medical, because it is an expensive piece, that they discount or disregard the ancillary benefits, which is life insurance, dental insurance, vision insurance, or some of the disability insurance, or some of the voluntary benefits, which are also very important. Mm-hmm. When the employer selects the core benefits, which is the medical and the ancillary, it doesn't always fit all the needs of a particular family. So that's where voluntary products fall in very, very good. For example, accident policy. If you have 2 or 3 children and they're teenagers and they're active in sports, not a bad plan to have. It's very inexpensive and it sure comes in handy.
I'm sure. That's great. Well, Peter, I appreciate you coming on the show and just sharing your wealth of knowledge, your history, and your passion for what you do. In such a, for most of us, it's a challenging business to be dedicated to, but you clearly put in the time.
Every business is challenging. It just looks easy from the other side.
Right.
But yes, it is very challenging. It's very rewarding. And my average client's probably been with me over 20 years, 22, 23 years. So we're good at holding on to our clients. That's just something about what we do.
That's terrific. Well, thanks again for being on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for joining us today on the Growing Your Business podcast. Please see the show notes for links to our sponsors, our social media, and to learn more about today's guest.